Hello, everybody. My name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show, and you guys gonna love today's guest. So I had the opportunity to kind of ethically stalk him. So I wanted to find stuff what he does wrong. I didn't find anything. I wanted to have somebody who says something really negative about him. Didn't find anybody. Then I said, hey, I'm sure there's something where he screwed up. He didn't screw up. So I said, I need to have him on the podcast. And you guys going to meet him right after this. Hello again. My name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And you guys going to love today's guest. So full transparency, you guys know that all of our team, I brought 25 people to the table. My team brought 25. We had about 150 people, and we all had 10 people, which we allowed people to go through. So today's guest was one of my guys, and so he made it through the batch. Okay, so and then what we do internally, if he's one of mine, I can do the ethical stalking. So I have somebody else do this. And he wrote back 3.5 pages. Hey, Christian, he does this, this, and this. I think this would be perfect for it. And every single thing was 100% spot on. And then I started following him and kind of snooping around a little bit in his social media. And I had the opportunity not only to meet an amazing human being, I met somebody who is genuinely interested in driving the industry forward. I have met somebody who is genuinely interested for you, our listeners, to get more out of that relationship than you will when he partners with you. So with that, I want to say hello and welcome to the co-founder and CEO of WISK.ai. He also had a company called bottlebooking.com, and he does so many other things, and he does a podcast. So what I want you to do today is not just walk over to his podcast, run over there and sign up. So with that, I want to say hello, Angelo Esposito, and welcome for joining the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show.
Christian, thanks for having me. What an intro. Honestly, I'm flattered. It was a beautiful intro. And yeah, I hope I can honestly just bring value to your guests. I've made a lot of mistakes in growing businesses, so I'm happy to just share whatever I can through this podcast
awesome.
episode.
I'm so happy you made all the mistakes because I didn't make a single one. I had a free ride. It was so easy.
Right.
I mean, we just talked about that the other day. I was like, I'm the champion of making mistakes. And we talked about just the other day, if I would have known somebody who brings a podcast like this to the market, I would have taken notes like crazy because what we really want to do is condense people's learning curve. And I made a lot of mistakes. I still make mistakes, but goal is I want to make less of them. So with that, Angelo, you're a handsome guy, beautiful hair is upsetting, especially to people like me. The reason I get it is in the wintertime it's cold. In the summertime, I get a sunburn. So I get it all the time. So we're upset about you. So, but you have a degree in marketing. You did so many other things. So why food, and how did this whole thing even start? So help our audience to learn a little bit more about you. Where did you grow up? Where are you calling in from? How did this whole thing start? And how did you wind up at WISK.ai?
That's a great question. So I was born in Montreal, Canada, raised there. Italian parents. Both my parents were born in Italy. I was born in Montreal, though. Big family. We're 5 kids. I mean, not compared to your family of 15, but big family for us, 5 kids, and really kind of just grew up always seeing my dad as an entrepreneur. He came from Italy with nothing, built a grocery store, or at the time, more of a corner store, and then that grew to many grocery stores, and he was always in the food business. But for me, I just grew up seeing that, and it's just like something that you just, I guess, absorb, right? It's just like, I never imagined getting a career job, right? Because it wasn't normal for me. Like I didn't have a dad who was, maybe a lawyer working in a corporate office. So
Mhm.
for me, that thought didn't even exist. So funny enough, I almost didn't go to university. It was my mom that pushed me. She's like, I don't care what you do, but just get your degree, then you could do whatever you want. But I was like, I know what I want to do. I just want to start businesses. I like building things out of nothing and trying to provide value. So that's where it all started. And really the idea behind Whisk was, prior to Whisk, my brain was always very entrepreneurial. Like even when I was a kid, my family teases me because I had so many different businesses or side hustles and
Mhm.
things like I had lifeguard for rent. I used to be a lifeguard, and in the summer, people in the community, it was like a nice community. So people who did like pool parties for their kids or whatever would hire a
Yeah.
lifeguard. So I created a website back in the days, like 20 years ago, even more, and it was like lifeguard for rent. And then I had one that was going well. And I'm like, I created one called Clean Pool. It was like clean pool and you could book to clean your pool, whatever. So for me, it was something I was always kind of trying this, trying that, trying this. And I loved it. I love the idea of just coming up with the name, creating something, trying to get customers, giving value. It's just, I never looked anywhere else. I loved it. And then what ended up attracting me or getting me into hospitality was bottle bookings, which you mentioned.
Mhm.
And it was a super simple idea. At the time, I didn't think like, oh, I'm going to build a business. It was just, the idea was, okay, I had a lot of friends in the industry, a lot of friends that own nightclubs and things like that and bars. And the idea at the time was like, hey, I wonder if we could do something similar to an open table, which obviously is a
Yeah.
big feat, but more geared towards nightclubs. And so that was the idea. It was a lot harder than I thought it would be, but it was like, okay, can people go online and reserve a table, maybe prepay? I realized a lot of mistakes, but the biggest one being just nightclubs are very different than restaurants. There's a lot of superficial things that matter. So it's not as straightforward as just booking a table. It's who's coming, what's the ratio of men to women, what's this, all these things that maybe aren't technically like legal, but nightclubs really do care about all these details. If you're a group of men, you got to spend more. If you're a group of women, maybe less. Again, they won't say this online, but that's how it works. So long story short, from that, and I always thank that experience because that's eventually what led to Whisk. And what led to Whisk was I saw a bigger problem in the market, which was basically back of house. Specifically at that time was bar inventory. It evolved a lot, and we'll
Yeah. Yeah.
talk about it. But at that time, bar inventory was super painful, and everyone was doing it manually. So all my friends, I have some bottles here, let's say, but they would, at the end of the night, someone would do it once a week, some would do it daily. But the idea was they would look at the bottle, they'd estimate, it's okay, it's about a 0.4, and then
Mhm.
they'd write it on a sheet. And I'm like, nah, this can't be the way everyone does it. And so I went to go talk to other friends, and I'm like, maybe if I go to let me speak to my hotel friends, let me speak to my friends that have high-end restaurants. Maybe they must have a system. And
Mhm.
long story short, or too late for that, but the short version was everyone either tried a system, but I think the tech wasn't there, that they ended up going back to spreadsheets or pen and paper. So my mission at the time, again, I didn't think it'd be a business fast forward 10 years, but back then was like, I wonder if I can help my friends. I want to create an easier way to do bar inventory from your phone. And it started with that. And I was super naive. And I was like, maybe I can create this. And we'll get more into it. But that's what led to WISK.ai, which today is a full food and beverage management system.
I love all of that. And for me, I look at your background, it kind of set you up for that because hearing this, I heard this story now a few times. And
Yeah.
for me, I was like, I think I told this the other day, I'm good at detecting patterns. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, he was meant to do this because that's just the way it came.
Yeah.
And so I want you to talk a little bit more about Whisk before we go into
Yeah.
talking more about you, because for me,
Sure.
it's really important for me to take back my time,
Yeah.
reduce cost, okay,
Yes.
and improve not just profitability, but how I show up for people. And
Exactly.
that's really what Whisk is all about. So for me, as I started reading this, I was like, I need to ask him for royalty because, it's really how I live my life. I love what you do. I love the way you look at hospitality. I love the way you look at making it easier for the people. And I love what you do because you're out there constantly promoting it and making sure that, I want to hit everybody because this could be a tool anybody can use. So talk to us a little bit. Where did it come down that you said, hey, I want to make the operators a life easier. I want them to get back time.
Yeah.
I want them to
Yeah.
reduce costs. I want to
Yeah.
improve profitability. Where did that all coming from? Because for me, one thing I've learned in my thing is when you clear, marketing is
Yeah.
easy. If you
Yes.
are clear, what I'm going after is easy. And for me, just that alone, honestly, Angelo, it doesn't matter what you do, because if you go to somebody says, I'm here to save you time, I'm here
Yeah.
to make sure I save you money, and I'm
Yeah.
sure whatever you want to do, I want to improve your product.
Yeah.
I don't care what you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And it's
No,
so
it's
universal. I absolutely love that about that. So talk to us a little bit. Where did that come from? How are your consumer responding to that? And what do you actually help them with?
great question. So WISK.ai, really where it started was on the bar side, but over the years it evolved, and it evolved to do full beverage management, and then we added food. But the core of it all and the main kind of mission was always been the same, which was time back, passion forward. That's our slogan.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
the concept came from having been in the industry, friends in the industry, and seeing how many people are just passionate about their industry, whether they're chefs, whether they're front of house, back house, managers, owners, multiple locations, single location. There's so much passion and so much work put into like the hospitality experience, right? Like they want their guests to be taken care of from all angles: the beverage side, the food side, the music, the architect.
Mhm.
Like you want your guests to be happy, right, and to return. And for me, what kind of really sparked it was like that's their intention, and it's a super noble intention, but they often then get hit with the reality of doing things they didn't think they would need to do, which is like, shit, I need to do inventory. I need to enter all these invoices. How do I cost up my recipes? I mean, damn, this is harder than I thought. My price of chicken's changing every week. How do I keep? So it was like all these boring, tedious, but super important things. So the idea was, okay, how can we get them to do those things as easily as possible so they can actually focus on the things they love? And so that was the premise, is like, let's take things off their plates, no pun intended, but to really get them focusing on the things that they love. And so where it started was really on the bar side, and it was the bar inventory. And we set out to make it as easy as possible. And so we built a database of 200,000 bottles with the images, the barcodes, the weights, the full weights, all that. And early days, I was literally going around with one of my business partners, Tommy. He helped as well, and we'd go around and literally weigh bottles. We'd go to some nightclubs, friends in the industry. At the end of the night, weigh them. We'd go to some liquor stores, and on Sundays they weren't as busy. Early in the morning, weigh them. And so we were kind of building it. But over the years, it got crowdsourced through all our clients as we were growing. And so now we have 200,000 bottles in our database. And that was
Love
our
that.
bread and butter. It's what we do well. We have a Bluetooth scale integration, all that good stuff. And so we made inventory as easy as possible. Mobile app. It works offline with no internet. It works in real time. So it could be 20 people counting at the same time. So all the bells and whistles. But then over the years, but how can I place my orders to my suppliers, right? Or this is great, but I want to see my actual versus theoretical. Can you connect with my POS? So fast forward, we really went deeper on the beverage side. So, okay, we need ordering. We need a way to enter invoices. We need recipes. We need POS, et cetera, et cetera. And it became very robust. We integrate with 60 point of sale systems today. It was when COVID hit that kind of changed the trajectory a bit, which I'm sure it's a common theme. People are like, COVID, everything changed. What changed for us a lot was that, of course, restaurants in general were hit really badly. But for us, we specifically were really strong in either bars or full service restaurants and hospitality groups because of our liquor, wine, beer solution.
Yeah.
And so that's when we're like, man, literally the only restaurants that are open are these QSRs or fast casuals for pickup and takeout. Let's develop food. So that's when we developed the food side. And the truth was, it was hard. We learned a lot, but we had years of experience in inventory, ordering, whatever. So there was so much core that was there, like, user roles and permissions and everything I mentioned about the Bluetooth scale and working offline. And so the nice thing was there was so much core of the app done. But then there was a lot of things we learned, like, okay, with food, like, not that we learned, but that we had to input in the app in the sense that, like, okay, when you buy your fish, there's a yield because you clean your fish. Okay, we didn't have yields on the beverage side. Okay, that makes sense. Recipes within recipes because I create my own sauces. What do you do when you buy tomatoes from 3 different suppliers, but you use that same tomato in the hamburger? Blah, 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 blah. Point is, we learned it the hard way, units of measurement, you name it. So fast forward today, it's now really solid. But when we started, it was a bit of an uphill battle because food was very different than beverage. So fast forward today, we do full food and beverage management from inventory, ordering, invoice scanning, recipe costing, et cetera. And the main goal is to get to the actual theoretical and really lower COGS. That's our main goal. Our main goal is, like, we look at a restaurant, and I'm sure listeners know this. the biggest expense is usually your prime cost, right? It could be 60% of your business, and your prime cost is divided into two things. It's labor cost, and it's your cost of goods sold. We focus on everything cost of goods sold, which generally can easily be like 30% of the business.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it all came from and where we're at today.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And to our listeners, when you have an opportunity, if you drive, don't do it now, but check out WISK.ai and then make sure you guys connect with Angelo. It's amazing what you do. So I'm interested in you. And, we have written here create because I think we're creating conversation. So I want to learn more about you. When was the time you realized, you know what? I need to do something on my own. I need to serve my community the way nobody else can. And I know I'm meant to do more. Where was that? And can you talk to us about a time when you realized that that's what you wanted to do?
Honestly, since I was very young, I'm very, I guess, lucky, or I don't know, some people maybe will say unlucky, but I see it as a good thing. But for me, it wasn't like, do I want to be an entrepreneur or not? I just was like, it's not, I don't need external validation. It's me. It's who I am. It's in my blood. It's like, I am that person. I don't have to try to be an entrepreneur. Of course, a lot of failures. It's not like I'm ultra successful, like I'm still growing, I'm still learning. But since I was a kid, I've been doing these things. And, I think about even maybe grade 7, Francois, shout out if you're listening to this, a friend of mine in high school, we were maybe 13. We had a website, I think it was called 514 Design or something like that. 514 was the area code for Montreal. And all we did at that time was websites for businesses. And you can imagine being 13 and charging a company, $2,000, $3,000 at that time for websites. We were like, wow, we're so rich, So for me, it's like all I remember since I was a kid.
That's
it's
awesome.
Like I was always thinking about like, how do I create things? How can I give value? That's the key. It's not just how can I make money? It's how can I give value? Because if I can give someone value, then there's an exchange. And so it was always about that. And there were so many ideas and things, and some lasted years and were like kind of cool, and some lasted like 2 months and were not successful at all. But I think it created a really good habit in me, which was not being scared of failure. It was just like some people might, analysis paralysis, they might think about something for years, never pull the trigger. While they're paralyzed, I already failed 4 businesses and have one that's successful. It's like, I'm just like, let's go. It's okay. Learn next.
I love that. And you make it sound so easy. So how about a guy which is working in the industry, not just hospitality, because we have listeners from everywhere, and they go into bed knowing that they meant for more. They wake up in the morning and say, oh my God, I need to get out of this 9 to 5. I need to find a way to serve people different. What is an advice, or what is something you would tell somebody if somebody comes to you and say, Angelo, I just know I'm supposed to do something else. How do I start?
Yeah, good question. The way I see it is like, there's the reality, right? And so you might have kids, you might have a wife, or you might be on your own, but you have expenses, you got a mortgage or rent. So it's not as easy as just saying, oh, just follow your passion. No, it's like the way I see it is 9 to 5 might be sustaining you, and that's fine, but you have to have a period where you'll be uncomfortable. What's that period? That period is, what are you doing from 5 to 9? So 5 to 9, right? Past work. Do you have time to learn a new skill? Right? Everything. There's so many free resources even if 10 years ago, the YouTube, whatever, but today even more so with ChatGPT and Claude and all these, and all these AI tools, like there's no excuse to not learn, and YouTube videos. So and courses, right? Coursera and all these other websites. So there's so many resources to learn that I would say start with maybe curiosity. What interests you? What are you kind of gravitating towards? And start putting in hours from 5 to 9, right? And for you, maybe that might look like 6 to 8, or maybe you put the kids to bed at 9. So for you, it might be 9 to 11. But you have to start putting in the reps, put in the work. It might be 2 hours a day, whatever, because there'll be that uncomfortable period. But the analogy I always give people is, if you could be uncomfortable for 6 months, for a year, even 5 years, right? But you can then be happy for the next 50 years of your life. It's usually a worthy trade-off. So I would say you have to find that trade-off. And then there's weekends, right? Like, I don't really, again, for me, it comes a bit easier because like I love learning. So for me, it's like, it sounds weird, but instead of, let's say, watching Netflix, I could easily pick up a new topic and like learn it in a weekend, because I'll watch like 12 hours of videos on a new topic. But that's me. But that mentality, I think, is important. Like, don't be curious, try to learn. And at the end of the day, you have to remember, you become more valuable if you learn new skills. So what's the best thing you could do when you don't have a lot of money is invest some time in learning new skills, and then you could make more money. And then you could, you know what I mean? It's kind of that arbitrage game in the beginning. So that's my advice. 5 to 9 weekends, start putting in the reps.
Love that. I absolutely love that. And it's funny when you talk about it, I see myself, because when we go home, my family watches TV, I go somewhere else, because for me, repetition is the mother of skill. Okay.
Yeah.
You do something over and over. And for me, I'd rather watch an educational. I lately, I don't know about you, but I gotten into TEDx talks, and one of my goals is within the next year or two, I want to do one. But
that's cool.
Watching them, I was like, I learned so much in 20 minutes. How the hell did they, how did they kind of work it down into 20 minutes? How dare they, And then I just get so excited. And then for me, that's the coolest thing ever. So for me, TEDx talks is really cool. And then for me, awesome. I, as you said, you just learned. And then my best teacher was Google. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
I did my very first website myself. I did a, what is it called? A WordPress site. Okay. I had 2 screens. I was so excited. I had screens. So I said, do this. Okay. I did it here. Stop. Okay. Do this. So that's how I built my WordPress site. And as a joke, it's still up to remind me how bad I was versus what we have today. And
that's awesome.
I don't really promote it, but it lives out there in the website world. That's and hilarious. I was like, oh my God, I haven't updated it probably in 8 years, 9 years. But I was like, it's so bad. And I was like, it's just such a good
it's amazing. And you know what it is for people listening, I'll give just advice that I use, right? Like my advice comes from just trying and doing things. Is never just theoretical. So one thing that I've been doing lately, like the last year or so, and to some of your listeners, this might be super obvious, but maybe it'll help some others, is use ChatGPT or other AI solutions. They're not the only one, right? There's Gemini and Claude and this and that, whatever. But use an AI solution and learn with that too. Because what's nice about that, don't get me wrong, I love watching YouTube videos. I love reading on Google. But what's nice about ChatGPT, I use it but to go step by step. So I'll give you an example. You're having trouble with space on your iPhone, and you're like, classic, your parents come to you, hey, I can't figure out how to, just go step by step. Hey, I have an iPhone 15. It's 32 gigabytes. This error is happening. What should I do? Can you walk me step by step? Okay, I'll tell you what I did, and then you tell me the next step, right? And there's so many things you could solve that you didn't know. And I'll give you a quick one because it was kind of funny, but just to give you the satisfaction, my wife's Colombian. I mean, we live in the States, but and so we were visiting her family in Colombia. We're like on a farm, beautiful, but we're on a farm, and something with the router is not working. I'm like, how the hell am I going to fix this? Like a router on a farm. What do I know? Like this is not going to happen. But I said, you know what? Then it hit me. I said, you know what? Let me just go step by step. So I put the voice on ChatGPT. Okay, I'm here. I'm in Colombia. This is what I'm doing. But okay, what's the name of the router? The router, the company says that. Okay, if it's that, it's probably this. Okay, go here. Type in this IP address. I go, they don't remember the password. Try admin. That's usually, or try admin password. Long story short, I got all the way in. I did what I had to do. I fixed it. And I'm like, this is amazing. It was all with just ChatGPT going back and forth. So there's a new element there that I like to emphasize to people that's a little easier to learn. You don't have to, for me, as an example, would have been a lot harder to watch a full YouTube video and pause and go back versus I'm going step by step with an AI tool. So that's just one I would say out there. If people want to learn, it exists today. There's nothing holding you back.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So you knew you wanted to do something else. How do you start? So our listeners, we also have probably 20, 30,000 of them are saying, hey, I know what I want to do. How do I start? And can you talk to us a little bit? How did you start?
100%. Yeah, 100%. The truth is, like, my general advice when starting is like, not to quote Nike, but just do it, in the sense that, and there's too many people that will be paralyzed by the choice. Do I do this? Do I do that? By the fear of making the wrong choice. But the truth is, if you change your mentality, you say, okay, instead of worrying about making the wrong choice, what if I make a choice and that was the best choice at the time, and maybe that choice lasted a month because the idea was bad and once I validated it, it sucked, and it's fine. And so the idea, the analogy I give people is when I was younger, to this day, I'm still very curious and learning. But when I was younger, like I said, my family made fun of me because I did so many things and I had so many different hobbies, but I went through phases. So like one phase was a DJ, but that actually lasted long. It lasted like 10 years. But then I wanted to pick up the saxophone. Didn't last as long. It lasted like 6 months and I wasn't good. But the point I'm making is like, it's okay. It's like, I tried this and then I stopped. And then I tried this, and it lasted really long. And then I tried this, and it's okay. People think it's almost like people have this fear that once I choose, I need to do that forever. Like I got to play the saxophone forever because I said I'm gonna do. It's like it's okay. You can try something, and in 3 months feel very differently about it. So that's my first piece. My first piece is don't be shy to try, and if it's not good or not, it's okay. But now you're not thinking about it for 5 years. You figured it out in 6 weeks, right? And there's something so refreshing. For me, it comes more natural because I've done it since I was a kid, but I'm hopefully trying to pass that on to your listeners of like, it really liberates you because you feel like, cool, it's not that bad. I tried this thing. I actually thought I would love it. I actually hate this thing. Okay, cool. I don't have to think about this every day at work now, should I? Because I just did it. I didn't like it. Cool. It's on the side. So I think there's something really powerful in just the doing, taking the action. And the second thing I would say is that there's also, I'm sure you've heard of the concept of just like a downward spiral, right? A downward spiral is like, I just had a drink, and then based on a drink, now it's late at night. Oh, now I'm eating junk food. Oh, now I didn't sleep well, right? So it's like things kind of, work got affected or whatever. But there's also something called an upward spiral. And I really believe in upward spirals. And upward spirals is like, and I'm sure you've lived it. I'm sure people listening have lived it, but it's like you just went to the gym. You haven't been in years, but you just went. Guess what? You get home, you're not eating chips. You're like, I'm going to eat kind of healthy. And you eat kind of healthy, and now you feel, and it's like you kind of keep these little, it keeps kind of boosting you up, right? The upward spiral. And so that's the power of action. So the point I want to make here is you don't have to see 10 steps ahead, just see your next step. And it reminds me of that story about the forest, right? It's like someone was lost in the forest, and it's like, I guess I forget the exact story, but it was something like, asking God, what do I do? I can't see, I don't know where to go. I'm lost in this forest. It's like, can you see your next step? It's like, yes. Okay, we'll take that. So you don't always have to see 20 steps ahead. It's like, I can see my next step. Start there.
I absolutely love that. I love that because you know what? I be talking about this all the time too. I love that. Nike, best slogan ever. And then the other thing is it's okay because what I started doing 10 years ago is not what we do today. We can evolve because, and then you know what? I could, if I do this, you know what? If I partner with this guy. So the great thing about it is it can evolve and it's totally okay.
It will evolve. Exactly.
Yeah. And so for me, that's some really, really solid advice. And by the way, to our listeners, it doesn't matter if you in windows, food, or toilet seats. Okay. It makes no difference. What you just said is exactly universal. It works for anybody, and anybody can do that today. And you know what the greatest thing about it is? They do it today. They see an impact tomorrow. And I love the analogy of the working out because for me, I'm 30 pounds down and
awesome. Congrats.
Working out.
That's awesome.
You know what? As you said it, for me, I was like, I know what my refrigerator looks like now. It's a lot different than it looked like before. Okay?
Right. I can imagine. Yeah.
And I think that as humans, this is the same. It doesn't matter if it's working out, starting a business, working for somebody. I will evolve. And for me, that's some really good advice right there. So, we are just about at a half-hour mark. I would like to play something called Rapid Fire Question Food Service Edition. But before we do this, let us look a little bit behind the curtain. What is Angelo working on for the rest of the year? And what is Angelo working on his business for the year?
Okay. So I'll start with the business, then I'll go personal. Business side, as I said, we kind of, in the name WISK.ai, we were always looking at ways to leverage AI to make everything easier. So we use AI, for things as small as like finding duplicates in your account and cleaning up the data, or maybe we use AI on the invoicing side. So invoices coming from Cisco and GFS and this, it's like they're processed really fast. It used to be OCR tech, now it's AI. So we're now experimenting, and hopefully, it's in beta mode right now. But audio inventory. So
love that.
The idea being, imagine you go into your pantry, whatever, and you could just talk into the phone. And you just say like, hey, I got 3 cases of this. I got 5 cases of that. I got 2 units of that. So we've been trading that, and it's been matching it with the invoices. So we're just trying to always push the boundaries, and it's getting better and better. But the mission always stays the same. And it's easy when the mission's clear, which is how do we give time back so they can focus on their passion and give them value. And that's what we want to do. So on the business side, that's kind of some of the core things we're working on. On the personal side, it's always growth. It's like always just personal development. It's, for me, it's very natural. Like I'm always trying to strive better. Now, specifically this year, I'm trying to get back in shape. Not that I'm super out of shape, but I do want to start getting back into the habit. One habit I was doing well last year that I kind of stopped the last few months, super simple one, but it was a good one, was a daily walk every morning. So that's one I want to kind of get back into, because I realized going back to the upward spiral, it wasn't about the daily walk. It was just like the daily walk then cleared my mind and gave me good ideas. And the idea, like it led to so many other things. So like someone might say, daily walk, if you really want to lose weight, you got to do this and that. But it's like, it's what the daily walk unlocks. So that's one I really want to get back into.
Love that. So now if any of our listener totally connected with what you just said, they want to learn more about WISK.ai, how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, super simple. So on the business side, WISK is WISK.ai. So WISK.ai, pretty much everything's there. There's even our podcast called the Whisking It All podcast. It's on YouTube or on other channels if you listen to the audio. We have blogs that we publish every week. Personally, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. So if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, just Angelo Esposito. I'm active on other socials too, but pretty active on LinkedIn. And then this is kind of lesser known, but I do have a personal website just called angeloesposito.com. And on that website, it's just a newsletter website. Every Sunday, I publish kind of a lesson I learned. So funny enough, the slogan on that website is like, learn from my mistakes. Not to say I'm a know-it-all in any way. I'm still learning. I'm still just a small guy in the big scheme of things, but I have made so many mistakes that I'm just like, hey, whoever wants, join the newsletter. You get something every Sunday, and it just to give a flavor. It could be things as simple as like how I bought back my time by, theming my days, to like how I got more productive, how I outsourced most of my email management to an assistant in a very like good way, and I'm saving 10 hours a week. So every week I just publish something that really has helped me. And just either helped me by freeing up time or causing less stress in my life or helped grow the business. So I'm always just sharing my lessons that I'm typically learning in my business. I publish it there. So that's another cool source if people are looking for free lessons. They're there.
So, and I encourage our listeners, you guys got to check him out. And it's true, he is very active on LinkedIn, because we reached out to him on LinkedIn and said, hey, we love what we do. We didn't tell him we ethically stalked him. So we tried to right? Because he would say, creep, I'm not going to talk to you. Right? But it's been amazing getting to know you. We just had a conversation a few days ago, and I'm really excited what the future brings for you, because what you guys do is absolutely amazing. Love it.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Are you up for playing rapid fire question food service edition? Because that's the real meat, because the people are going to know who you are.
Okay.
And you did really great right now. If you could,
I'm nervous.
So
let's do it though. Let's do it. Take the action.
So the way it works is we used to have 53 full transparent. We have now 58 question, and we kind of run it through the little machine, and I print it out for every podcast. So you have the latest and greatest, and I ask my AI to make it really hard for you. So let's try this. So 25 questions. I would like you to answer as quickly as you can without thinking about it, and you answer yes or no, and why, because we want to know why are you doing things. Okay. So with that, are you ready for playing rapid fire question food service?
Let's give it a shot. I'm excited.
Give me the first number between 1 and 25.
17.
17. Ooh. If you could drink soup from a champagne flute, would you? Yes or no, and why?
Yes. More efficient. And it looks fancy.
There's a whole group out there saying, why would you? It's hot. That's not good. So number between 1 and 25.
Let's go 11.
11. Is chocolate considered a valid toppings for nachos? Yes or no, and why?
No, I'm one of the no, and I'll be honest, I'm one of the few that doesn't love sweet and salty. I know some people love mixing. The other day, funny enough, I was talking to my wife. Popcorn was sweet and salty. I'm like, I just want popcorn. I don't want sweet and salty popcorn. So yeah, I no hard no for me.
I, I, I'm with you. Chocolate is chocolate. Um, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, give me a number between 1 and 25.
Let's do one.
1. Ooh, this is an oldie but goodie. Should ramen noodles be legit breakfast food? Yes or no, and why?
Yeah, ramen noodles, I think, is a 24-hour food. You know,
Yeah.
it has ramen noodles has no time zone. That's my answer.
Okay. Yeah, I want people to look at a ramen noodle. It has 1,000 milligrams of sodium in there. Do not
Shit.
eat it.
Don't have it.
Okay.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Give me a number between 1 and 25.
Let's do 3.
3. Is it okay to serve a cocktail in a cereal bowl just to mess with your friends? Yes or no, and why?
Without the messing with your friends, I would have been like, no. But if it's messing with your friends, I think it's fair game. So yes.
I'm with you. Whatever. Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Give me a number between 1 and 25.
5.
5. Ooh. Would you cook while wearing pajamas just to see if it makes the food taste better? Yes or no, and why?
Yes. Hard yes. Absolutely.
Why?
I mean, look, you wake up, you're in PJs, you want to cook, why not? Right?
Yeah. Okay. I yeah. But if you wear something else, if you wear nothing, please do not cook. It doesn't make the food taste better. Okay. Give me a number between 1 and 25.
Let's do 7.
7. Oh, should all food be served with a surprised ingredients?
Should what?
Should all foods be served with a surprise ingredient just to have fun? Yes or no, and why?
I'm leaning towards a no on that one, especially if you're going out and paying for it. I can't risk it. I'm a creature of habit. I often go to the same restaurant, so yeah, I'm not risking it.
I have some of my friends. Their personality is a little strange. I don't want to have. No, I'm good on that surprise. I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last number. Give me a number between 1 and 25.
Let's do. Did I say 11?
No, you didn't. So,
okay, let's do 11.
Oh, 11 is should brunch be served 24/7? No questions asked. Yes or no, and why?
Absolutely yes. That would be awesome. I love brunch. I love brunch. I love having breakfast at any time of the day. So big fan. That would be a hard yes for me.
So we
as long as people serve ramen noodles, right? Now
you made so much sense before you brought in the noodles.
I'm kidding.
I love ramen noodles. And there's days I just make ramen noodles, but I take a different broth. And the other day I want to make it real happy. I had miso soup left because I pick up stuff from this Japanese place. And I was surprised. I said to my wife, I didn't use the regular stuff because there's too much sodium. I used the soup, the miso soup. And she was like, really? Really? Still,
that sounds good though.
I'm telling you, it was awesome. It was really good. If you are out there and you want to kick up your ramen noodles, miso soup does it. So
you heard it here. Yeah.
With said, Angelo, I appreciate you being here. Thanks for spending so much time with us. Thanks for the gift of your time, because we know if there's one thing we value more than anything else is time. And we really appreciate you kind of giving us the gift of your time. It was awesome to hear how you started. And to our listeners, I want you to check out Angelo's website. We also going to go on his private websites, make sure we spam that a little bit. And then also below on the show notes, you will hear what my takeaway was. What are my 5 learnings from today's episode? Also, if you have a friend, make sure you share this with a friend. Or if you know somebody who can benefit from some of the things Angelo said, please do so. And then if you haven't done so, make sure you click the notification bell so you know every time we have a new episode coming out. So with that, Angelo, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for doing this.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
The more I talk to you, the more I want to hang out with you. So I really appreciate it. And thanks again for doing this. So, but before we go, there's one last question we have for our listeners. All the things you have learned, what is the greatest word of wisdom you ever gotten and never acted on? So talk to us about that.
I like that. Is that you leave that one on your listeners? That's a good one
for you. That's your last question.
my last question. Okay,
word of wisdom you ever got, but you didn't act on it. It took you a few years to say, crap, I really need to do that.
Well, to be honest, one of the best one of the best ones I've heard is the analogy. Someone gave me an analogy once of, usually when you see a red light in the distance on the highway and you're like, what is that? 9 out of 10 times it's an accident. And so the analogy he was giving me was like, when your gut's telling you something's off or there's a red flag, 9 out of 10 times is probably right. So to trust it more. So it's a lesson I learned of just like trust your gut more, because the amount of times I was like, no, and I saw the red lights in the distance, but like maybe it, you make excuses and every time I regret it. So it took me many of those lessons, but now it's like I see things a lot more clearly, and I've learned to trust my gut a little more.
I love that. So good. So good. So with that, thanks for being here today. And to our listeners, if you haven't done so, make sure you go check out Angelo's websites. If you guys want to know more about WISK.ai, make sure you reach out to him. Also, if you need some help or have a little bit of thing you're stuck on, reach out to him. He's amazingly good in getting back to you and provide some service. So with that, until next time, disrupt your kitchen, fire up your career, stay hungry for change. I'm Christian here with Angelo. We are out of here. We are signing off. And to our listeners, go out there, be the challenge, and be the chef who sets the world on fire. Angelo, thanks for being here today. And to our listeners, just go out there and be disruptive, everybody. We see you at the next episode. Thanks for being here.